We are live. That's what it says. Hello, everyone. How is it going to a special Friday night edition? Can I hear myself? Live. That's what it says. That's what I can hear myself. Okay. Hello. Yes. How's it going? This is a special Friday night edition of Movie Crap Live. Let me move. Maybe I should be, before I start calling names out, I'm adjusting my camera just in case. Okay, I started a minute early. It's fine. Hello, Paleo Steno, Jordan Salafalo, Purple Goop, Austin, Raymond Glenares, I think. If I didn't say cornbread. Oh, you watched the Seabeast twice? What's going on? Cornbread is a thing. Nathaniel Foga, everyone who's here, thank you very much. I know it is a very different night. K-Master, hello, what the fuck is up? Yes, it is time to do Movie Crap Live. Sorry for it said 10:35 for a little bit. I wasn't sure, but I figured out my, anyway, I figured out something. Hello, how's it going? This is me. How's it going? I figured out a light thing that I didn't have on. You delivered mail today. That's interesting, Nathaniel Foga. I realized I have the light that's usually behind me in the reviews needs to be on the other end of me for this. So, anyway, just remember that. If you can hear music, it's because I live next door to a church, and they're, I guess they play music on Fridays for some reason. Not sure what the deal is with that. But we are here. This is the final, Movie Crap Live of the kind of Film Rut video launch celebration-y thing. The next one after this will be Cinram is here. We can start. The next one I'm going to officially say after this will be August 20th, since they are going to be monthly after this. So if you're waiting for another Movie Crap Live, it's supposed to be August 20th. There is some scheduling thing. It would be the Friday before. Could even be the Saturday before that. But it's one of those three. But let's just say August 20th for right now. Nathaniel Foga, maybe. Hey, Ella, how's it going? Awesome to see you here. Still proud of that movie. It's Ella, right? Am I saying that right? We never actually spoke. We just emailed. Hello, 6EJKJG9. Yeah, all right. Oh, I have the drink. Let's do the drink and I'll tell you more stuff and then we'll get to the news. So basically the deal is I was going to get one energy drink and we had to rush on the way home, me and Sophie. And I was like, we'll go in the store, we'll see what they have, if they have something different. And I have G Fuel Sonic the Hedgehog. And she said, when she saw it, I was like, I should probably get this. And she said, you have to get this. So that is what we're doing tonight. I don't know G Fuel or how prevalent it is outside of, Ryan Walterson is here. August 20th is the date of the next Movie Crap Live. But anyway, I saw Paws and Fury. It was okay. All right, let's get to these super chats. It's Peach Rings, which I'm not a fan of, but it's Sonic and nothing. It's supposed to give me extreme and performance energy. Wake up, honey. Movie Crap Live with Jim. Thank you, Riley. Anyway, this is G Fuel Sonic. Let's do the first super chat. A guy named Crystal, pour one out for close enough. Cheers to you. And I'm not gonna. That's my floor, and I would have to clean it up. So, and I don't know. Maybe this would ruin the floor. Let's try it out. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Unboxing 4. Saw Paws of Fury. It was okay. Cheers to you. If this had alcohol in it, I would like it more. We got we have a cool chat tonight. I gotta say, this is a lot of good people in here. All right. Before we get into the news, and I can't believe some of the stuff that dropped suddenly. First off, thank you. Anyway, thank you everyone who's watching the Film Rod video things. It was a big step for me. It's not easy making a cartoon when you're older or anything like that. I'll say a nicer thank you towards the end of the show. I know people want me to get to the news, but just want to say thank you. And if you haven't watched one of the 4 cartoons, you can. They're really cool and all that good stuff. I saw RRR. I saw the one on Netflix, not the one that everybody says you should see, but it was amazing. And I want to do a review of it, but I want to understand more stuff and actually watch it again. But if you haven't seen RRR, you should. It's amazing. It's like, as Patrick H. Willems said, I think it's the most movie of a movie I've ever seen. It's awe-inspiring. Just like watch I think in the language I saw it in, the dance was called the Dani Nash, but I think I'm not saying any of this well, but you should see RR. If you haven't, it is 3 hours. It is amazing. Like a total visual amazing spectacle. I love it. I am definitely going to do that. Nathaniel Foga has another survey that says, you think the drink will make you a gamer? Probably not, but maybe. Cheers to you. Gotta go. Should I just angle it so you can... Well, then it's going to pour all over my face. Anyway. Let's just get into it. Is there any other updates? Not really. We have 2 cool segments tonight also. I'm very excited about that. Very excited about the segments tonight. Cow and Chicken Pilot and the weird illumination things. And we will get to those after the break. But we had breaking news at the Movie Crap Live newsroom, or as I like to call it, my phone. We found out that Close Enough... No, wait. I should do the things. I should do the things that... Sorry. Whoa, okay. See, you're now part of the RR Club. Yes, I am Nat Box 64, and cheers to you. All right. I'm going to back up. I'm sorry, I almost fucked that up. First off, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, and you have me drink my beautiful Sonic limited edition, by the way, guys, limited edition energy drink, as well as there is the Patreon where it has all sorts of cool stuff where you get... Oh, I have other things to show after this. Oh my god, sorry. You can tell a lot going on at the household tonight. Where you can get postcards, 24-hour early access to Film Rad video, so that you get it Wednesday instead of the Thursday day. You get my commentary series, postcards, more power in the movie review vote. You find out who wins the movie review vote, all sorts of cool stuff like that. And you get mailings, and I do have a little cool thing to show, and I'll try this into it. But any support you have is always appreciated, and if you're financially able to do so, it helps me be able to do new stuff, and I've bought a computer and other tech and been able to advance this channel. So if you financially are able to, I very much appreciate it. But if you just watch it or give me a like, or if you aren't subscribed, there's a lot of cool things like premieres and stuff that you'll be more notified for. But if you're just watching and coming here and every now and then, thank you very much for that. But I'm working on a sticker, and those are going to be mailed out to patrons as well. But I've made a little temp prototype sticker, which is this cool little flyer here, and it's got it's just TV, and it says very badly, "What are you watching?" Which I rewrote that, and a QR code. So it's going to be sort of like this, but I'm working on a black bear. This is a prototype to see my original idea. I wanted to flesh it out, and I put it in a few places, including a really cool area in oh hey TuneJ723 at the Port Authority, and it stayed up for like 5 days, and I got some views from that, which is fucking insane. So stop drinking, it belongs to the museum. Nice looking hell. So anyway, my patrons are going to get the temp flyers, and because only a couple of those will ever go up, those are super rare. But yeah, I'm actually working on it. I'm trying to figure a lot of graphic design stuff. I've really been pushing what I can do, and I did stickers for Knock Force, and this channel I did flyers, and maybe one day I'll make a video on doing all those things. But yeah, but if you're a patron, you're getting one of those if you get postcards anyway. So they're just like paper things, but I also cut them up because if you ever do a flyer, if you do them in a unique way, people notice them more. I learned that literally, not a joke. I learned that from a graphic designer. It's like a big deal. And he told me last time I talked to him, we go, that's still good advice. And it is. I am wearing a Reptar shirt. Other things before we get into it, I'm sorry, I am a mess tonight. If you like my stuff, I also have an Instagram, a TikTok, which I'm trying to post more on. I'm kind of figuring out distributing older content and making it on TikTok, as well as posting clips from Film Rock Video. And I have a Facebook group, so if you're like, hey, Facebook, I wouldn't mind Facebook updates and getting all of Jim's videos and throwbacks and stuff like that is really cool. But also, I haven't said this, and I'm very sorry, the Discord, which Austin and Zane Powers do a really good job. If I hadn't decided to be a silly idiot and do Movie Crap Live tonight, then you would have a movie night on there tonight, but there isn't. But normally they do, and they do a great job. There's Ask Jim. There's the novelty card channel where I post new cards, and Oscar is destroying these, so there might be a new one soon. And general and movie, you can post movie stories, which I check when I make this show. So if you're like, how can I make sure he knows about this? That is the perfect place to do it. It's a great way to interact with people in the chat and this community. And honestly, it's the only Discord I regularly go to. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. Link is in the description. Please check it out. And Austin and Zane Powers do a fucking amazing job running it. And it is the first Film Rock Video emotes on there. Anyway, and Ryan does an awesome. Ryan's generally doing a lot of cool stuff. Ryan helped with both the segments this time, suggesting them. One, if you ever wonder, suggesting an idea to me and think, oh, he didn't do it, he's never going to do it. Ryan suggested one of the segments like over a year ago. Anyway, take that, other Discords. Okay. Sorry, if you're watching this later and you can go through the segments, you won't watch any of this. But close enough. When the Movie Crap newsroom was in a flurry, or my phone, when we found out that Close Enough had been canceled on HBO Max. Now, first off, I want to say, before I get into the business side of it, and I do know why that happened, they haven't officially said the corporate, but I can honestly tell you why I think it happened. I love J.G. Quintel's work. I made a regular show video I was very proud of that he retweeted, and Warner's lawyers were not cool about. But so it doesn't exist currently. But maybe one day I'll repost it somehow. I don't know. Maybe on Daily Motion. But I have a close affinity with Close Enough, regular show, and Close Enough, and J.G. Quintel. Like literally, regular show ended a couple months before, like a month or something before my daughter was born. His next show, he has a kid who's a daughter. He didn't have a son in it, which I think is probably why it was canceled, because it stopped mirroring My Own Life, and everyone knows. That's anyway. It was a very close show to my heart, and I really love J.G. Quintel as a creator. He is honestly one of someone I relate to almost too much. I've said often, but I've reviewed the first 3 seasons. I love them. I thought it should have gotten more attention, and it didn't. But here's the problem with what's going on now. And everyone's blaming the merger, and you are right. But let's get into why this hurt, the merger hit Close Enough specifically, and what that all has to do with it. Because I think everyone's just going, it's the merger. And like, you're simplifying a lot here. What David Zaslav, I believe, is doing is David Zaslav is simplifying and kind of cutting costs and cutting problems or things that don't make sense within the Warner Media, Discovery, whatever the fuck family. So they're looking at everything that doesn't make sense. Close Enough was not on Adult Swim. It was an HBO Max thing. Even before it was not on Adult Swim and was on HBO Max, it was supposed to be a TBS thing. It never made any fucking sense that this thing was not associated with Adult Swim and aired on TV. It should have been, but they didn't. What he should have done, I think, is he should have said, I'm going to move this to Adult Swim. What I think happened is clearly this show was not taking off. I know we all really liked it, but I never talked to any, like regular show. If I wear a regular show shirt, and I'm not trying to be, I'm like a super big fan of regular show. People come up to me on the street or yell, oh, or go, I love that show. They like regular show is a hit. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Close enough. I mean, I don't have a shirt because they didn't send me swag. Not sure what that's about, but I never get swag, so it's not. I was a little jealous of that, but however, it does not fit into what they're doing, and so I think he just looked at this and went, "It's probably not getting enough views. It shouldn't just be an HBO Max original. It should be on Adult Swim. None of this makes sense, so you're done, basically." Whereas like Harley Quinn is part of the DC thing. If Harley Quinn's on there, we could just, hey Zodberg, how's it going? They could just, you know, they can just put it in the DC label. Same with like Sesame Street at Sesame Street Workshop, Studio Ghibli. You know what I'm saying? If it's not on one of the hubs on the service, one of the brands that they are associated with, it doesn't really make sense. And there isn't a adult sitcom cartoon segment that isn't Adult Swim. So should it have been pushed into that? Yeah, probably. I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place, but I think that confusion made it a target, basically. And I don't think the views were good enough. It noticeably, I think, and this is something we'll get into later, is it didn't get an Emmy nomination. What was that? I don't think that helped. The timing to me signals that they're like, look, if you get an Emmy nomination, we'll keep you around. But basically, this show is not doing the network favors. We liked it, and I was definitely like, if they kept it on, I mean, I'm probably stuck with HBO Max because it has Sesame Street, but I think honestly that's sort of what happened. They were like, you have to give us something if you're going to be in this weird segment, and maybe we'll move you over. I also think it's possible they knew for a while and they ended it the way they ended that season because they knew something was up. You know, it could have been that too. So we'll see. But I think it's the ways David Zaslav is kind of like, he cut a show, I think I'm talking about later, called Chad. It had a full season and they decided not to air it. He's cut reality shows with, days before they're supposed to start airing. So close enough. I don't think a season 4 was that far in development. I haven't seen. J.G. Quintel just said it's true and things like that. The way cartoon production works, I have a feeling they might have known for a little bit, but we don't know that. It stinks. It was one of the best cartoon shows on right now. I think there's the problem. I think with a lot of interesting animation is it is so hard for them to break out and get the marketability, and unless you're associated with a big brand. That was weird. The light just went out. Like a Harley Quinn, then I don't think it's necessarily going to work out for you. So yeah, I feel like I should look at that light. But let me just finish this close enough thing, and I'll decide what I'm going to do. But I still really like Close Enough. It's still one of my favorite shows. But I wish some of these shows would get better marketing. I wish it had worked out better. But I can see why David Zaslav did what he did. I'm going to be talking about Nintendo Pictures next. I think there was a super chat I let go. I said I still blame that Louis C.K. top show, Austin. Yeah, probably. I'm still curious, what was that going to be like? I feel like it wasn't. Man, can you imagine like Louis C.K. was going to be even more everywhere? He was going to be like as everywhere as Kevin Hart had that not happened. I don't know if that would have. I think we would have all gotten sick of it. Probably. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. I just want to see what's going on with the light, just because it makes me nervous. It might not be on. I'm sure you care about the lighting, but let me just, I will be right back. 1 second. Okay, whoa, Will with a nice super chat there. Anyway, sorry, I wanted to check on the light there. It just made me. I don't like to fuck with electrical. If it goes out again, I'm just gonna unplug it. Anyway, Will with the super chat. Fucking legs. All right. I think Marley's the copycat. Louis C.K. adult animated copycat. That sounds painful. It probably would have been. That TBS thing wasn't Fair Space. What? There's that other show that was going to be the TBS animation block. Never made a lot of sense. I gotta say, it's sort of. I think they will anyway. Will says Quintel is an interesting creator. Still love the first season of regular show. So much nostalgia. Gotta watch more Close Enough since it's canceled. You should finish it. I do think whatever I said in the reviews, but there were certain parts of season 3 I think that were some of the best. I think it was really improving in a good way. But cheers to you, Will. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, Nintendo Pictures. This has been. I've looked this up a lot because I've seen a lot of people go. Final Space, thank you. I've seen a lot of people get this very wrong, and what's going on with Illumination and Mario. And look, I'm not really an Illumination fan, to be honest with you, but this does not signal that the Mario movie is canceled. It's coming out in like March or April of next year. I have heard no indication. There's a lot of rumors, I think, because we haven't heard anything. But what is this basically? This is Nintendo bought another company and is basically making this animation studio. It bought Dynamo Pictures and is making that into Nintendo Pictures. And is going to be basically, they want to make basically like what they called visual content utilizing Nintendo IP. So, sorry, I have to. I know I'm interrupting this, but I gotta do this. Classic Cameron says JG's next Quint. JG, I hope this is. Oh my god, if he wants me to do a voice, I so would. JG's next show is going to be about a guy who live streams movie news every week and has a 12-inch mouse type YouTube cartoon. Oh, JG, hit me up, man. I love this idea. Sorry. You made me smile. That if he does it though, and I'm not involved, I'm gonna be like, fuck you. Like seriously. Anyway, thank you. I haven't seen you here a lot, Classic Cameron, but that was a banger. Cheers to you. Gave me a big smile. So the thing with Nintendo Pictures is they do say visual, like it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily mean movies, and we don't really know. And there is no way to interpret the news as they're pissed off at Mario. What it could mean, and what I actually think is more likely, is they're looking at what Illumination is doing with Mario. And Illumination is a fucking monster, and them and Mario sounds to me like an 150 minimum opening, not a joke. No, I'm not joking about that. I think it's going to be, if they can get a good trailer together, which I think they will at least get a populous one, it will be a monster. Especially with kids, like little kids, like my daughter loves the Sonic movies, for example. But what I think they're looking at this as is the same way Marvel did with Spider-Man and X-Men. They're looking at the Mario Illumination, and I think they got someone to launch this, to launch the idea of video game movies, even though Sonic is going to end up being the Blade, and they're going to end up being the Spider-Man in this scenario, what I think is going to happen. So a lot of people, and what Marley was mentioning in the chat, is that they might just be making promos and stuff. I think that's probably a big part of it as well, because they're so vague about it. But the timing also suggests that they're probably doing something more. This might just mean series, because people are going to be expecting more cartoons of Nintendo stuff. It could mean movies as well, and the fact that they're buying a company and calling it Nintendo Pictures makes me think they might be doing something else. So I would say they're just prepping, because what if Mario comes out and it's bombs, which it won't, but then they're like, well, at least we bought this thing and we can make a cartoon or whatever. I do expect, Sony's talking about making cartoons. We're seeing movies and stuff like that. We're seeing the video game, movie things start to happen. I think they're looking at the success of Sonic, and it seriously is like a much bigger brand because of those movies, and I think they're sort of looking around like, oh man, we really need to get on that. So That's what I think. I think they're just prepping. I think they're just prepping right now. They're trying to think of like what to do. Man, what is these people are annoying. Sorry. But I think yeah, Sexbot is back. I don't understand Naked HG's thing with me. However, I think yeah, I think they're just prepping. I do think they're probably considering making their own stuff. They just want to see how this goes, and I'm not sure. I am a little confused because I thought Illumination was going to work with them more directly. This feels in conflict to that. Chris Meledandri, I believe that's how you say his name. Ryan can correct me. I think that he might be too busy. He's running 2 studios, and he might have just advised what to do or something like that. So we'll see what's going on. But I think it's an interesting move. The fact that Hollywood Reporter is doing a story on it, to me reads into it a little more. That's I think why people. It was just video, like it was just like it's probably just promos, but the fact that like this sounds like a press release thing that they smelled some blood in the water kind of thing. That's I think like you don't see Deadline and them caring about Nintendo buying a small animation studio. So I do think there's like something to it, but we'll see what's going to happen there. It's sort of, but my guess is it is basically like if Marvel could be like, okay, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, we need to prep Iron Man. I think that's what they're thinking theoretically. I pronounced it right. Thank you, Ryan. All right, Harley Quinn season 3 trailer. This is a cool trailer because it was actually her telling you, oh, this is going to be a cool trailer. And I gotta say, it definitely worked on me. I'm excited for this. It seems a little, plot of season 3 seems a little convoluted to me. However, I'm still down for it. I'm really excited. I love the characters in it. But it was a good trailer. I like that she's like talking to the camera and it wasn't like Deadpool annoying or anything like that. So it was a really cool trailer. I'm excited for Harley Quinn season 3. Moving on to the Emmy nominations. Now, I guess there's 2 things to talk about. Is the Emmy nominations in totality, I guess, and then the Emmy nominations for animation. So I'll just say, overall, I don't watch a lot of shows that aren't cartoons, but I will say I was very happy about Abbott Elementary. All of its nominations are well deserved. Frankly, it should have got even more nominations. It's a really great show. I think after the success of Ted Lasso, we all wanted like a positive, all audience kind of comedy. And Abbott Elementary is very much that. I often hear people talk about one of the things they don't like about modern entertainment is so dark and gritty and specific. And I think people like that classic Hollywood thing of, not that Abbott Elementary or Ted Lasso are classic Hollywood, but in that sense, like everyone in the family could watch it. And I think Abbott Elementary has that really well. I really am happy for that show, and I've seen every episode a couple times actually, and I really like it. So I'm happy about Abbott Elementary. I think it should win. It probably end up being Ted Lasso, which was a fine season. It's still a good show, but I think Abbott Elementary is probably more of the future. It's going to be more long running because they're probably going to end. Ted Lasso is only going to have another season. But let's get into animation. So I'll talk about it. I guess I started kind of a bigger tweet from me about the animation category. But I've also heard Barry is good, and I need to start watching that. So that is so. Let's get into the 2 categories that. Wasn't there a third one? I thought there was another. Is this the right? Anyway. So in outstanding animation category, you have Arcane, Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, and What If. And then in short form animation category, the nominees include When Billy Met Lisa, The Boys Presents Diabolical, Star Wars Visions, Robot Chicken, and Love, Death, and Robots. So, okay, so basically, short form, why the fuck is that Simpson short in here? When Billy Met Lisa, like that's bullshit. Smiling Friends, where you at? Like I don't understand That was like the best cartoon going right now. Like that's animation right now. Like that shouldn't be in there. Star Wars Visions, I will give them that. Robot Chicken, I don't know what that's doing in there. But my biggest problem with this stuff is this. Um, I I guess I got some pushback from like Nintendo and Johnny Two Cellos and stuff, and not like I don't think they're actually mad at me, but I was saying like, look, why do we keep nominating The Simpsons? Is it actually good for animation that we're giving up one of these slots to The Simpsons every year, like literally every year? I just don't think it's good for animation as a medium because we have so many things that really need that slot. Look what happened to Close Enough. Could it have been saved if The Simpsons didn't get in there? Do The Simpsons need a nomination at this point? Like, do they? I don't think so. Does it make you want to watch The Simpsons more? It made me watch this episode, which everyone told me was very good. And guess what? It is. It's actually a very good episode. I liked it a lot about Marge and Homer. There's certain kind of issues I have with it, but it was still a good episode. Like in terms of quality, I actually do agree it should. Was fine with it being nominated. What If is not a good thing to be in there, but what If shouldn't be in there. But the thing is like I think that category has always been an issue. But The Simpsons being in there for so long and just eating up everyone else's thing to me just doesn't. It's not helping anything. Like, what point are we proving at this point? And my other thing is like people at the Emmys have, after they won, like Candice Bergen, for example, won 5 times in a row and then said, I don't want to be nominated anymore because I'm holding other people back, basically. Bill Cosby also did that, but let's not bring that up. But people have done that. And when I am actually, historically, people have done that. They've said, I've won too many times, let's end this shit. And to me, what are we doing with The Simpsons? If it's its final season, I'll give you that. But I don't know when that is going to happen. So to me, let's not nominate The Simpsons anymore. Because it's not influential anymore. Really, it is one of the most influential shows ever. But at this point, are we influencing anybody? Are we proving anything? Are we changing anything? What are we actually doing? And I just don't see that with The Simpsons being nominated still. I just don't. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. Like, what are we? These awards are basically one of the things that streamers know will bring attention to certain shows, so people can watch them again. And if we're going to do that with animation, does The Simpsons need your help on Disney Plus? I don't think so. In fact, they don't. So, Cinram actually brought up Oprah also refused additional Emmy nominations after she won so many times, which again is very cool. I do think that is a cool thing for people to do. So I think at this point, because like Trey Parker and Matt Stone literally say, used to call it like The Simpsons and Four Losers, because in the 90s I remember something when and it wasn't The Simpsons, people would freak out. The only times The Simpsons haven't been nominated, I think there was 2 years in the 90s they were trying to get into Best Comedy and they didn't, which I agree is bullshit, but The Simpsons have enough Emmy nominated. I still think if you keep, like Sesame Street, I love that show, but does it need to win more Emmys? Should we give the spotlight to other creators and spread the love rather than have these monolith franchises that eat up everything? I just don't think it's okay. So that's my issue with it. However, I think this could have been a better list. Where's Amphibia? Where's Owl House? Where's Smiling Friends? Where's, I just don't get what they're trying to do here. I think it's a really lazy list of nominees. And, that Simpsons episode was good, and maybe I need to watch more modern Simpsons, and I'll give you that. But I just think in the overall, I wish they'd tried. I wish they'd try a little better. That's my soapbox. I'm done. I will say I got more people agreeing with me than I thought. More people agreed with me than disagreed, less people did for some reason. But Will in the Super Chat says animation categories for most reward shows are so frustrating because of majority's ignorance towards the masses. Ignorances to many gems. How the hell did Maya and the Three not get nominated? Oh fuck, you're right. Damn it. Oh, that show was gorgeous action. Would that Will, that is a good point, and cheers to you, and thank you for the generous super chat. Cheers to you. Would that be in daytime? I don't know if that was in prime time or not, but I agree with you. That show was great. Hello, anti-Satan pro-life. Quite a name. Zane Power says, next you'll be saying that award shows are trite. I might. Cheers to you. Okay, moving on. You know what? I'm getting more used to the Sonic G-Force. G-Fuel. G-Fuel. Wow. It's supposed to enhance extreme focus, and I'm all over the place. So, clearly not. Clearly not with the extreme focus, I gotta say. Anyway, next up, Joe Dante. Someone whose film opinion I honestly respect. I think he's a guy who knows a lot about film. I've heard him on some deep film podcasts. Said, and I looked at the original article, by the way. He was not misquoted. It was not if it was a joke, I didn't hear the audio of it. But he says Grogu was stolen. The idea was stolen from... I realized I put the wrong link there. Was stolen from Gremlins, from basically Gizmo. So Deadline actually pulled that they had an interview with Jon Favreau, and he mentions E.T. and does not mention Gizmo. But I'll say this: well, it's G-Force. That's a hamster. Okay, sorry. But I was disappointed by this from Joe Dante because Joe Dante, I've always thought is somebody who really knows movies, and this was a pretty stupid fucking line to say. It's obviously Lone Wolf and Cub. It's obviously a lot of Westerns. I definitely think he would be someone who would understand the postmodernism of Star Wars. So it actually makes me think less of him as a film person because it's just such a dumb fucking thing to say. It's clearly not Gizmo. I don't understand. It's clearly Lone Wolf and Cub. Even when the Tom Hanks Western News of the World came out, people were like, oh yeah, because it's in actual, instead of using the Western trope, it's the... I just Ryan Ball just tried to get G-Force in the movie review. No, someone's going to do it. But, I don't know. I find it kind of dumb. To me, it's it's a cute character, and I sort of get it, but Gizmo is not as central. It just doesn't work. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work. It's such a dumb thing to say. I'm not buying it, Joe Dante. I was disappointed by this quote. I thought it was kind of dumb, so whatever. All right. I still like Joe Dante. I've been liking the times I've reviewed his movies recently. I would like to review Piranha in general, also, or see Piranha, but yeah. So this is I'll do Beavis and Butthead first, I guess. Beavis and Butthead, the show is coming to the new show is coming to Paramount Plus, on August 4th. What's different about this is it turns out Beavis and Butthead, the new show takes place after Do the Universe? Do the Galaxy? Was it Do the Universe? Whatever. It's after the new movie that I reviewed, I heard. And basically it takes place after that, and if you don't know the plot of the movie, which is in the trailers and not spoiling anything, they time traveled through a wormhole, and they kind of came into the present. And so the new Beavis and Butthead is them taking place in the present. So what I think, this is basically like that Transformers show that takes place after the Transformers movie, but it's an interesting way to take it. Instead of having them take place in 1998, it takes place now, but Beavis and Butthead are the same age. I will say, I wasn't in love with the movie, but the white privilege scene was pretty fucking funny. So I'm going to give it to them that this could be really good, because anything where they were more dealing with tropes in modern age were some of the better parts of the movie, and I wish they did that more. Hello, Jared. How's it going? Nice to see you here. So I'm gonna say I'm actually interested in this concept because I did really like that white privilege thing. I thought that was really funny. I'll give it to them on that. So, but I was surprised. I don't think anyone knew that was what the show was gonna be. So I would suggest if you're gonna watch the show, watch the movie. But I think if you're into Beavis and Butthead, then you probably already have. I'm assuming. But that it's interesting to think like why they didn't do certain things for the movie is now because obviously they're going to save some stuff for the show. Some people are saying the movie was sort of a backdoor pilot. I guess so, but it's interesting. So yeah. Oh hey Jordan Bouchard. Oh you did okay. We have a super chat from Sinram also bringing up a thing about the Turner thing. I need extreme focus to do this. So it's staying cold. I put it in the back of the fridge. That's a fridge fridge life hack, I guess. Sinram says the TNT network announced they're canceling all of their original scripted content. Lucky for me, Animal Kingdom is currently finishing up. Yeah, I've heard that they're really cutting back on stuff and tightening belts and stuff like that. But I never watched Animal Kingdom. I was wondering if it was like that movie from the early 2010s, but anyway, thank you for the super chat, Sinram. That's really cool of you. But yeah, Warner Discovery with David Zaslav is doing some weird things. I'm curious once he pulls the purse strings and everything like that, what that company is going to be. I think that's what everyone's wondering. A guy named Crystal in the chat brings up something, and thank you for bringing it up because I almost forgot. Saying, I have to wonder if the side characters from the original show will be in the new series or they'll feature aged up versions of them. So we do know that the guidance counselor was in the trailer, and I think some of the people at the school. I'm wondering if that kid with the winger shirt, I think that would be interesting to see him grown up. It would be interesting to see Daria or something, but yeah. That would be interesting. Oh, Animal Kingdom is an adaptation of the Australian film. Okay, that's interesting. I really liked that movie, so maybe I should have been watching the show. I didn't realize that. But yeah, I'm curious what they're going to do with Beavis and Butthead. So, let's do one more thing before I move on to actually talk about the Munsters. Scream 6. I have not talked about this, but Nev Campbell, in other things, they cast Samaria Weaving and Tony Rivali, I think. My thing is with this is I don't give a shit about Scream 6 because Nev Campbell isn't coming back because they wouldn't pay her. If you're not going to pay Nev Campbell, why are you... first off, what is that about? It's her franchise, through and through. Sidney Prescott has been in every single one. If you didn't kill her off or get her permission to kill her off, then... I would like... What do you mean, Gwar and Beavis and Butthead? Or... I'm confused by that. But that would be cool. The Gwar bar... that I went to around my brother's wedding is fucking awesome if you're ever in Virginia, by the way. But I'm sort of against Scream 6 if Nev Campbell is involved or Courtney Cox because those two should be in it. I don't think it's cool not to have those people. To me, that franchise, you need those two. Wes Craven's dead. You should at least be calling Kevin Williamson, talking to Nev Campbell or Courtney Cox. Those phone calls should be happening. I like those other people. I'm fine with them. I have no issues with them, and I think they're good actors. Samara Weaving's a cool actress, but without Nev Campbell, no. You pay Nev Campbell. I don't fucking care what she asked for. No. And I've heard a lot of people are saying, nope, doesn't have a project coming up right when it's shooting. Apparently it is for real. She's really not coming back right now. So, if you can pay Jamie Lee Curtis... the 70s, look, I understand she brought in the slasher era, but Nev Campbell is still responsible for the slasher era that started when I was a kid, and if you want my nostalgia dollars, unless you get Nev Campbell, you ain't getting that shit, so fuck that. I'm sorry. Not happening for me. This isn't I'll probably still review it, but I won't. This isn't angry video game nerd Ghostbusters thing, but I just think it's not cool. Sorry. I got a little, yeah. Oh, true. Austin was right. I think Gwar should make a cameo. So, the Munsters trailer. Wow, people did not like this shit. I'm going to be honest. People were not into this at all. I was honestly a little surprised how much people hated the Munsters trailer. I'm not. I honestly thought that people were gonna. I thought because the monsters are kind of cheesy, you know what I mean? And I thought they'd be like, oh, yeah, that's like how it is. And but I kind of read more about it because of I think it's Hats Off Entertainment. It's to me it's like what I forget that channel. They did a thing on it recently. It's not the Hats Off guy who was on this channel and has been in I think the premiere chats a couple times and stuff. He's cool. He's part of the cartoon community. This other person is another Hats Off person. It's very confusing for me. But they've done stuff like the lost scenes in Jurassic Park. If Paleo's still here, he should check that out. But somebody wake up Paleo. But he brought up that the thing with this Monsters trailer is everyone was like, how can this look so shitty? So apparently it is going to be going to Peacock, and it is going to be, and it is made by a subsection of Universal who's known for making sequels to their already established franchises for direct-to-video things. So it's kind of on par for them. I kind of think it looks shitty on purpose. There's a video, I'll send it to you later, Paleo, but there's a video about like the lost scenes of Jurassic Park. I forget, I'll send it to you later, but you should see it. Or the lost version of Jurassic Park. But anyway, but he was bringing that up, and he's reviewed other kind of comedy sequels to these things, and he was saying it still looks kind of shitty. It's a prequel, and there's certain things about it like it doesn't really look right. It's in this weird color instead of black and white, the original. I'm not a big Munsters fan. It just I do think, part of me is like Rob Zombie kind of makes stuff like this and it sort of looks intentional. I also think like we haven't seen the movie. I'm a little curious about that. It is like it's a direct to streaming movie on Peacock, so it's like guys, that's Peacock. But I am not sure. I do think it sort of looks bad, and the more you look into it, you kind of wonder like how they spend this much. Why were they shooting so long? I think they probably should have. What I think happened is they saw a way to make this movie that was probably just going to be a direct to DVD thing get a little more buzz with Rob Zombie. They could give him artistic control. They could give him a little bit of a budget for Peacock and things like that. And the $30 million budget and stuff. But I think when you look at this stuff, it doesn't really look good. I think they probably should have just, if they put it in black and white, I know there's a lot of talk of like the black and white cut things have gone too far, but there are certain films and certain things that probably should be in black and white, and this should as well. But I'm more of an Addams Family person, I'll be honest with you. But I still I think the shows usually work better than the actual movies. And I kind of think the problem with it, and the Hats Off Entertainment guy was bringing this up, is that the Addams Family was more like, oh, they're spooky and they're different and they love it. And in the Monsters, it's more like they're trying to be sort of normal and it's more of like a satire. And it felt like they weren't really doing that. And I think like maybe this should have just been a show, a sitcom thing. They've been trying to work out the Monsters for a long time as like a follow-up thing, and they keep fucking failing. But I think we'll see, because I haven't seen it. Is Rob Zombie a good director? I think he has his moments, but I don't think necessarily this feels a little off to me. And it feels like somebody who, he's been lost in the weeds for a little while, but Peacock kind of saw it, that this could work out for them. But we'll see. We'll see about that. I don't know about this whole thing. We'll see. Daniel Vasquez is back. Here we go. York Ridge. York Ridge closed on January 9th, 2000. Timonium closed on October 1st, 2000. When did you first remember hearing about them closing? I believe I heard at the time. These are old theaters in Maryland. Daniel Vasquez has his own narrative. I sort of love it. Cheers to you, though. I remember York Ridge, but York Ridge was so shitty at the end. I think everyone was sort of like, it was a bit of a mercy killing there Timonium, I was bummed about it. I think back then they didn't really have articles about that stuff, or if they did, it was lower in the thing. I think we drove by and I was like, oh, it's not open anymore. And I was disappointed because I saw the original TMNT. I have more memories of Timonium than Yorkridge, if I'm getting them right. I should look up in my thing book. But anyway. Yeah, I just don't think the Munsters looked particularly bad, and I hope the best for Rob Zombie though. I just think like if they're trying to like maybe launch a kind of campy cult show, like I know they have Elvira, and maybe they're trying to go in more of the campy. Don't they have Elvira? Don't they have the Elvira stuff? If they're trying to do more of the campy Halloween thing and like get that more on their side as a streaming service, that could work out, but we'll see about that. So these are some interesting things, and then we will get into the Marvel leaks. Which are they leaks? Who knows? The Inua Child of Wonder was greenlit for HBO Max on Cartoon Network. What I like about this is a comic book thing we haven't really heard that much of, and it sounds like an interesting, different kind of thing. It's a Dark Horse, unique YOUNEEK Studios graphic novel series, heavily influenced by the Yoruba people of Nigeria. The people will be financed and overseen by a black-owned animation studio, Lionforge Animation. This sounds really cool. I don't know this comic series, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it is cool that we're seeing other influences with animation and stuff, and not just American, black American perspectives, other perspectives as well. And I think that's really cool. So from the little images and what I know, it sounds interesting. I hope it does well, and I hope it turns out pretty good. And I have, good luck to it. Let's get into another Super Chat. Notbox64 says, I generally like some of the stuff Rob Zombie has done, Hillbilly Deluxe, Devil's Rejects, but I don't know how the Munsters will turn out. Cheers to you, and I agree. I think I liked him more when he made music videos, to be honest with you. Man, I used to really like his music videos and the Beavis and Butthead segments. Like, White Zombie's a good first metal band, I'll say that. And more human than human. Yeah. Cheers to you. And Blood T says, you think James Ralph loved the trailer since it uses less CG? I'd be actually, you know what? I know he doesn't really do trailer reacts unless I don't keep up with his channel too much, but if he does, Marvel leaks better call a plumber. If he does, I'd be curious to see what he says. Sorry. Okay, The Last Train to New York, which was the American remake of The Last Train to Busan, has been removed from Warner Brothers' schedule. We don't know too much. That doesn't necessarily mean it's totally off or whatever, but I'm going to be honest, a lot of these American remakes never really go over very well anymore, because unless you have a big star attached, which I think it could work if you did, then like the audience who likes Last Train to Busan isn't going to be like, oh yay, you put a bunch of white people in it, yippee. Like nobody's going to be like super hyped for this. So like unless like Brad Pitt, man, by the way, those Bullet Train trailers, like why does that movie look so horrible? Like I read so many times like this is a big priority for the studio. Like the studio's real excited, like we're gonna get people back to fucking theaters for Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock's in this, and like all these people, it's gonna be crazy, this is gonna be the movie. And then you see the posters on the trailer and you're like, say what now? What the fuck? Like anytime I see an ad, I'm like, this is the movie though? Like the Super Pets movie looks better than this. Like what's going on? Like I don't get it at all. I did forget about El Super Beasto. I did have fun with El Super Beasto. Hey, I saw El Super Beasto in theaters, so cool for me. So this is, I want to preface this, and I put this a little bit of stories before the Marvel leaks, because this is not a leak, it is a real thing. Alden Ehrenreich is cast, this is official, in Ironheart, and I'm glad he's doing a major thing to sort of have a comeback. I always thought that was I always thought I always thought he should deserve somewhat of a comeback. I'm glad he started getting in here and coming in then to see you. Good for him in general. So good for him. So we have two things from Daniel Kaylua that were kind of big news. One, he's not going to be back in Black Panther 2, but because of course he isn't. His character's in jail for being a fucking traitor. So like that does, to be honest, that doesn't surprise me. I wasn't like too shocked, but I guess he's a big enough of a star. It got some headline. And notice he's like, whoever his publicist is really pushing him a lot lately. So, but it was a bit surprising. But he's still producing the Barney movie. We heard a little bit about that, talking about like what would life be after you come to realize that I love you, you love me, and what's life like after that and stuff like that. It still sounds like a weird Barney movie. I know they've attempted. Originally, they wanted, I think, Trey Parker or Matt Stone to do a Barney movie. They were, like, seriously, that's not a joke. Like, they were actually pitched to do a Barney movie. And they did look at other weirder directors for it, as I remember at the time. So I think there's always been this idea to do something different with Barney. He's also a brand that, like, is weird because it just suddenly stopped one day. There's not, like, a good cancellation story. So I think there's, like, sort of a need for a conclusion and a resurgence. So I do think there's something there. I'm not just saying that. Like, I look into like when did it end, and it just seems like it just got less popular and stuff. But it's still like a major millennial thing. So I'd be curious to what someone said let Barney die. I'm curious to see what happened. But I'm curious. Daniel Kaluuya, especially like if you ever saw was it Wives? What was that movie? Damn it, I'm not gonna remember. Widows. Man, oh fuck, that was a good performance. And Judas, Daniel Kaluuya is a great actor. Anyway, okay, hold on. Will said the Bullet Train thing is because of David Leitch, I think. Don't get the hype beyond him either. Wasn't a fan of either Atomic Blonde or Deadpool 2. I like Atomic Blonde, but I agree with you on Deadpool 2. Atomic Blonde is like very, like, I like the just all the music and the fights are well. I think the fights are better, but he seems to like the CG madness more than, I don't know. Atomic Blonde is very kind of a surface level movie, but I don't say it's a guilty pleasure, but it's just sort of like a fast food of a movie that we put on probably too much. But cheers to you all. Actually, it's funny. Before I get to Marvel League story, a funny Atomic Blonde story. So you used to have this thing where you could take your baby to the movies with Alamo Drafthouse. Obviously, right now it's not cool to take because babies can't wear masks. You're not supposed to do it under 2. But when I took her, because there's not COVID then, to Atomic Blonde, and she kept trying to talk to Sophie, which is a baby, and she kept trying to talk to to Charlize Theron, like anytime she was on screen, and during like that long fight scene, she was just going ba 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 ba, and like all baby nonsense baby stuff. And it was like me, and there's like this dude who was sitting near us. It was just like kind of drinking beers on his day off and stuff. And then afterwards I was like, hey man, sorry that I know this is a baby screen, but I'm sorry if my daughter was like talking the whole time. He's like, oh no man, she made it better, this is great, I knew what I got into. And he was like totally happy about it. Anyway, nice memory of hopefully one day soon. Daniel Vasquez said, sorry you didn't see Small Soldiers at the Center back in 1998. Since you mentioned in your review you were on a camping trip to Disney World or something. No, it wasn't. It was not I wish it was. It was not that enjoyable a camping trip. But cheers to you, Daniel Vasquez. I have heard more people say Chad Stilinski is the real man behind John Wick, Jordan Salafo. That's a good point. So let's go through the Marvel leaks. Are these real? Most people would say no, and I've even heard the theory that Marvel leaks them themselves because it oh, I can just insert now. Okay, maybe I'll do that later. Does Barney need to be tied to the fucking cross? Jesus, St. Powers. That was good. Cheers to you. What was I gonna say? Oh, we can get rid of that. Where are we? Okay, so apparently Marvel does just release leaks to kind of like temper stuff and like get people off their trails and stuff like that. We'll see how much of this is true next week at San Diego Comic-Con or what is true later and everything. But I'm just going to run down it because it's a bit of a slow news week, I guess, and this will at least be interesting. Yes. So here are the Marvel League rumors. One is part of the new Daredevil show is going to have a new Elektra because the woman who previously played Elektra is busy with another show. So they want to get Eliza Gonzalez, who is in Baby Driver, as Elektra. The next thing is Anthony Starr from The Boys. I haven't watched that show. However, I noticed the character of A-Train, they've been plastering him all over the A-Train, which is one of the trains I read. So I've noticed, I've seen a lot of A-Train lately. But Anthony Starr from The Boys is going to be Dracula in the new Blade movie, which everyone says is good casting. And I'll say, sure, he looks like he could be. There's also a World War Hulk as a Disney Plus 4-part show. Most people say the reason that World War Hulk is going to be a Disney Plus show event crossover with all these people is because Universal has the theatrical rights. But then everyone then says in this same rumor that they're also going to find a way to have this be a special event in theaters. So I'm like, what? Don't those contradict each other? I'm sorry, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, anyway, I'm a little confused on that one because that makes like literally no sense. You're just like, wait, but if you don't have the theatrical rights, like, how could you play it in theaters? Like, would an event then be okay to play? But that's sort of like, I don't think theatrical rights work like that. I'm not an expert. Maybe there is a loophole that way. The theater thing seems off. But it would be interesting to have a World War Hulk kind of thing and have it be on Disney Plus. It would be a good way to promote Disney Plus, and since they can't have it in theaters because of Universal. There isn't... Okay, Embla T brings up something. For Thor 5, it seems like Chris Hemsworth has mentioned that he's not heard anything about a Thor 5, but a lot of people are suggesting it, and the whole thing with Hercules and everything like that. I don't know anything about that, and I'm a little confused what's going on, because would suggest that Thor will be in another movie, but what that is, we don't know at this time. Okay, other things is Henry Goulding as Wonder Man in the Wonder Man show. That could work. I kind of think it should be someone like cheesier and hammier. My memories of Wonder Man, but maybe they can get it to work. Hopefully he'll be better than the Euro trash from Trinity. Cheers to you, Austin. Cheers to you. I'm hearing that for X-Men, shit, I'm not going to get this right. Giancarlo Esposito is going to be cast as Professor X, and Glenn Powell... fuck. I dropped stuff. I should just have a table here and make my life... Anyway. Sorry. Giancarlo Esposito as Professor X and Glenn Powell as Cyclops. I like the casting Professor X. Glenn Powell as Cyclops, maybe. That's sort of the rumor going right now. There's still not a director attached. Deadpool 3 apparently will be announced at San Diego Comic-Con as well. We don't really know much beyond that. Black Bolt, played by Anson Mount, is set to return in the Marvels, supposedly. There's going to be a Shang-Chi sequel. I mean, I sort of thought that, but cool. Some of these, like, when I'm really reading them out, I'm like, I don't know. Thor 5 is Thor vs. the Moon Men, Deep Hurting Sandstorm. Cheers to you, I like that. Cheers to you, Austin. The other ones are interesting. There's going to be a House Party of Harkness with Agatha Harkness, and the other people supposedly attached would be Amy Poehler, Hannah Whittingham, and Hunter Schafer. That could be interesting, especially with Amy Poehler and Catherine Hahn. That sounds actually really cool to me. Supposedly a Spider-Man 4 is happening. Okay, guys, I don't know how you're going to do that under Marvel and not Sony. To me, that sounds kind of not true. And then the big one is that with Fantastic Four, the rumor is that as Jamie Dornan as Reed Richards, John Krasinski was just kind of a fan thing. Also, they're probably like, wait a minute, that good news show sucked, and you're an obvious Republican. Look it up, guys. It's true. Amanda Seyfried as Sue Storm. Sorry. And Joe Keery as Johnny Storm, which actually says in everything I read, Sue's brother, which I was like, wow, times have changed. That the Human Torch is now Sue's brother. Probably for the better. And Thing is not cast because they want the director to cast him, and the director they want is Steven Spielberg. I'm going to be honest with you. Every blockbuster franchise calls him first, and then he says, yeah, hold on, I'll put you on hold, and then never answers the phone because he's not going to do this. I do not think he will do this. There is no fucking way. He demands way too much back end for Marvel or Disney to let this happen. If they're that desperate, sure. But it's also like, what's Doctor Doom is so essential to this thing. Like, there's too many questions with this, but I think the Favreau thing from the Howard Stern audio makes more sense than Steven Spielberg. I just don't see him doing that. If he's going to turn down Force Awakens, do you think he's going to do Fantastic Four? Like, he was the first call. He, like I said last time, he always gets Star Wars. He's turned down Star Wars in every trilogy. You think you're getting him for Fantastic Four? I just don't see that. Favreau, I believe, and I think that works. I think the sequences would be insane. Like, you give Spielberg an unlimited budget, but he's gonna demand too much money. That's what I think. But I get Emblett's really into the Cool as Ice cinematographer thing. I just we'll see. I think the thing is Marvel really wants to prove they can make a good Fantastic Four movie and then move on to figuring out X-Men, because that would be the big triumph, really. To me, it's like, maybe they'll fuck it up, but we'll see. Zane Power says Thor 5 is Thor the Dark World 2 with cat Dennings. That's horrible. Cheers to you, Zane Power. That was good. I do think they need a different director for Thor 5. But also, I forgot to bring this up. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. But my Thor Love and Thunder review will be out tomorrow, or at least I hope so. So moving on from the Marvel leaks, will they be true? Will they not? We will see. Bluey Season 3, which people have been, hey, Major Mekazawa, people have been wondering about for a while, at least in my house, is coming out August 10th on Disney+. We'll see what happens with, with that. Bluey's, we rewatch Bluey all the time, so it's going to be consumed very ravenously in this household. Not much to say more about that, but Lilo and Stitch has a director, the live action remake, which should never happen, and I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, but it has the director of Marcel the Shell. I just don't see the need for this. I know Lilo and Stitch, and I talked about it in my Treasure Planet review, that it was like Lilo and Stitch, like literally, like I see someone wearing a Stitch shirt once a day. Usually, like Lilo and Stitch is a huge franchise, and I totally think, oh, that's nice that it's your niece's favorite show, Austin. I totally think that it will be a big thing, but I just like don't see, like, wouldn't the live action remake of Lilo and Stitch just be like shitty E.T.? Like, let's be real here. Do you really want to go into Mac and Me territory with Lilo and Stitch? Like, let's just, like, you ain't doing better than the guys who directed the How to Train Your Dragon first one. Like, you're not. Like, I just don't see that. Like, think about what you're doing here. Like, they're probably the best duo animation directors since Ron Clements and John Musker. Two of the best directors of the last, from the 90s to now, and you're gonna like fuck around with that. To me, that's a terrible idea. If I was a director, I would be like, oh no, you can. Oh, I gotta get a cat. I just think it's a terrible idea. I hear a cat and he needs to be let out of the room, and then we'll talk about the Lord of the Rings trailer. All right. Sorry. So, live action Goofy movie when? So Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. We know it's coming out on September 2nd. Here's my thing with this trailer. No, my thing is, I think it is a good trailer. I thought they did a good job. It like made me go, oh, this is like an event. And I know the original reason. Oh, Lord Miller, you're right. You're right, Austin. You're right. Okay, there were other really good ones, but they're really good too. Um, it did make me go, okay, everyone you want to watch the show is hook, line, and sinker. It was a good trailer. I'm not going to deny that. I think part of it, I didn't know Galadriel is going to be like a warrior person in it, it looks like. I do think one of the things about this is like, it's also like, I would be more hyped for this if the Hobbit movies hadn't happened. I think the Hobbit movies really tainted the brand, like more so than the prequels, because at least you had time between each prequel, but because they came out and they all stunk, um, I do think that hurts it a little. And I know in all, oh, Buster, come on, don't knock everything else. I know that wish I had not let you out now. Um, I know that Jeff Bezos got this because he wanted to have his own Game of Thrones, which is sort of a weird thing at this point, but it does seem like Amazon Prime's trying to be sort of a high end nerd channel with that and the boys. I think it works out with their what they have going for them. It's a good blockbuster trailer. I am a little curious about what the show's actually going to be, but it doesn't make me go. It doesn't change. Oh, hold on, I gotta reach in. This is a real small operation here. We gotta just put some wires up there so the camera doesn't get disconnected because of a cat's very eager tail. Um, but it's a good one, but it doesn't make me go, oh, that is surprising, or I can't believe they took it that, or that's a shot I never thought I'd see. It's just kind of like normal blockbuster stuff. And yeah. What beep? There's a beep? Anyway. Um, Will says literally, Will has a super chat that says literally both Chris Sanders and Dean DeBois have both done live action films at this point. You could have just asked them to come back. That's a really good point, actually. I would have been more interested in that. So cheers to you, Will. So the Will Venton documentary is coming to theaters on August 5th. Sounds interesting to me. I would like to see that. Yeah, I'm curious about that. I don't know when I'll get to see it, but I would like to. Disney Pixar are going to show off animation stuff at D23, including Win or Lose, Elemental, Strange World, and Iwaju, I think. So we'll be curious to see what's going on with that. John Stamos is going to be in Spidey and his amazing friend as Iron Fist. That sounds way better than the actual live action Iron Fist we got. But yeah. And two more other. I'm just gonna do these, then trailer and stuff, then break. No, there's one obit and then break. But there's a Johnny Mnemonic black and white version. I've actually not seen Johnny Mnemonic. I've been meaning to since it literally came out. I don't know why I haven't. I should maybe just do a review of it. Maybe around the time of the black and white thing. But I just don't get it. But I haven't seen that movie, so I don't want to pass too much judgment. I think the problem with the black and white cut thing is when Fury Road did it, it was hyped up because he said, "Oh yeah, there's a black and white cut," because I had the guy do the music have a black and white cut and stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's interesting because this movie's so cool." And I've heard of other people doing that before, like filmmakers do it. Like Steven Soderbergh made a black and white version of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which you watch just for the framing. Oh, it's Iron Man. Oh, I didn't know. Well, Iron Man still. I liked my idea better, but I like. I'm sorry. I don't know why I wrote Iron Man. Oh well. Or Iron Fist. But anyway, I should probably see Johnny Mnemonic, but I think the black and white thing, it only worked for Fury Road because we got hyped up, and if there's a specific reason. But I haven't seen this movie, so I don't want to pass too much judgment. You would think I would have seen Johnny Mnemonic, but I haven't. Tune J723 has a super chat says Strange Magic or Trolls. Kill me. I guess Trolls. Cheers to you. You got me to. Anyway, So what I was talking about, and I brought it up earlier, is the show Chad, which was going to be on TBS, was canceled, but right before the second season was going to come out. So they have a whole finished second season that Warner Discovery isn't airing, which to me shows like Ted's. So, Zevala, God, long night. The Warner Discovery really doesn't give a shit. So I think I just it is worrying. I'm worried about the future, especially if they're canceling. Like, to me, it's like, it's done. Just make your fucking money. Like, what's the big deal? Just cancel it after the season's over. But like the fact that they're just canceling content that they've already paid for, things different. Anyway, we have 2 super chats, and then we'll get to trailers and stuff. KWG, says thoughts on potential Nintendo cinematic universe. I'll start with the Mario movie as a fish out of water movie where Mario teleports to 42nd Street. I would say I think the other ones they should do, and cheers to you. I think Zelda and I think Metroid would be the 2 I would go with first, because you could show the difference. I think those would be my big crowning achievements. But I would also go, if you really want to do a cinematic landscape, I don't know Nintendo as well as y'all do. I think Star Fox would be also good. I've heard Star Fox mentioned a lot. I would pick something that's a little more B tier and go with that to show to kind of flesh it out the way Marvel did, or someone who is important to them but is B tier now. I don't know who that is. I don't know gaming enough to make a commentary on that, but that's what I would do. Jordan Burchard says, Count Chicken, I Am Weasel, and Johnny Bravo came out 25 years ago today. Did you watch any of these? Curious for your opinion of the first 2. Thanks, Jim. I am going to talk about Count Chicken later, so I will reserve that, but I watched all of them. So, Count Chicken is a segment later, because it is the 25th anniversary. But cheers to you, Jordan Burchard. But I did watch Count Chicken, that's why. I was probably the biggest fan of Count Chicken. Cheers to you. We're not the biggest fan of, but I forgot I have the Garfield glasses. We'll do that after trailers. Well, we'll do that right now. But right before I do trailers and stuff, I have the Garfield glasses. I brought them out and I totally forgot. The lead paint Garfield glasses. I have stopped drinking out of them since I learned of this. I grew up with everyone having these. I had 2. You've probably seen them in other videos, but I kind of feel. But some of the lead paint thing I've heard is overrated because because at the time they made them, the lead paint would be pretty minimal. So, if any, it's not 1979. The copyright mark is not, because I think these are from 85, 87. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, they were literally next to me this entire show, and I showed the flyer and. Out of sorts. It's always hard to. I really haven't drank out of them. I'm nervous about. Although I have a different McDonald's glass I regularly drink out of that has a sun on it. That's my regular glass, and I'm not. I don't think it's like lead paint like they say, but it still made me nervous. I do like vintage coffee mugs, so that's probably a problem. I should put. Oh man, I didn't make up the shelf at all tonight. Damn it. That's what I forgot. Let's just put them. You know what? Let's do that. The rest of the show. Let's put this down here. Let's put this here, Garfield and Odie and Normal and all those guys. Okay. All right. Aesthetic change. Wait, where's the thing? Okay. Anyway, so let's do trailers and stuff. Central Headquarters is the trailer from the guys who made, I think it's Power Plant. They are directors of Catfish. It stars Owen Wilson. It's a fun premise. It stars Owen Wilson and his son, who's played by the kid from The Atom Project. It does actually look kind of fun. I'm a little curious about it. It's going to be on Paramount Plus. The Rocket Lomax, that's a good. Oh my God, said Jim should be the expert on lead plate. He lived in the Baltimore area. Yeah. So Central Headquarters looks fun. There's the She Said trailer. Here's my thing with this is, I don't think this, when people do these, like, I'm going to do a modern movie out of a big issue, I think they are like, I'm going to be like All the President's Men and don't bring the filmmaking prowess to it. So to me, this looks better than like that Fox News movie that I was like, I don't fucking care about that. So it looks better than that, but I'm cautious of like, what are you fully accomplishing again? Like that's kind of a thing I think about artistically. Like, is this just because you know you can do it? Good for you, but we'll see. It looks better than it probably should, but and I'm curious, but not fully. We Met in Virtual Reality is a documentary fully shot in virtual reality. It looks interesting because of that. I'll give it that. It's like the idea of virtual reality and VR and what's going on with that. I do actually, I will give it that it's probably one of the more interesting ideas for a documentary. I might watch it. I'm curious. We're going to find out about that. Okay, I have one trailer and then I'm going to talk about something that we should be talking about more. Yeah, Bombshell is whatever with that fucking stupid movie. The Orphan First Kill trailer. I've actually not seen Orphan, but Orphan First Kill looked cool. Saw some Julia Stiles. Good for her, getting some work. Day Shift. Now, this is about, it looks pretty much like a better version of, you know what's funny? I can forget a movie's title, but I can tell you the entire plot as I remember it. But that movie with Will Smith and the orc, the Alien Nation ripoff or whatever. But I will get to your super chat in a second. And it stars Jamie Foxx, and it looks like really cool. He's like a vampire hunter, does the day shift. They find vampires and they kill them. But no one told me, no one, until I watched this tonight, that this has Snoop Dogg. Everyone, try not to freak out in the chat. You can freak out after I bring this up. It has Snoop Dogg in a fucking cowboy hat. And then, later in the trailer, it has Snoop Dogg in a cowboy hat with a fucking machine gun. What have we been doing? Why was this not the poster? Why is Jamie Foxx even the main character? I wasn't even seeing that. I was just seeing Snoop Dogg in a cowboy hat, and he looks really cool. And then they play Murder's the Case, which is a great song. And then he shoots people in a cowboy hat. Like, mind blown. Like, Netflix. This is going to be on Netflix. Just re-edit the movie, because we just need Snoop Dogg in a cowboy hat. That's all I want in life. Like Snoop Dogg, I will want Snoop Dogg in everything. I love Snoop Dogg. I don't understand why he bought Death Row. Can he bring the Snoop Doggy Dogg back? I would love that too, but that's his own personal choice. But and I respect either one, Mr. Dogg. But I still think, yeah, Snoop Dogg in a cowboy hat. That's all I'm here for with Day Shift. That's all I want in my life. Man, that looked cool. Snoop Dogg in a cowboy hat. Jamie Foxx in it. Yeah, it does look like, I forgot Bright. Whatever. I'll put it this way. Should we remember Bright? That's the real question. Should we? I don't think so. So I haven't watched Mr. Bones. Maybe I should watch Bones or whatever. But yeah. Let me get to Will's super chat there. Sorry, Will. It said, weird for Henry Jess and Ariel Schumann to get into the Robert Rodriguez family movie scene with Secret Headquarters. I think because that is, Robert Rodriguez done very well, and family stuff keeps you going for a streaming service. I will say, as a family who has streaming services, if there's a reason for my family to have a certain streaming service, or we have a good experience with a movie, like Paramount Plus, one of the reasons my family watches it is because Sonic's on there. And when Sonic's on there, my daughter is going to watch Bubble Guppies or another show, and it definitely helps it. So I should really take the break now. Still remember when Steve... here, let me cheers to you, Will. And, yeah, I need to... So, Ninebox64 says, still remember when Snoop Dogg was under No Limit. That was weird, and I don't remember any of the songs, but cheers to you, Ninebox64. All right. I really need to take a break. But Monty Norman, who did the Bond theme, died this week. I think that is probably one of the most recognizable film themes of all time. So RIP to him and his family. Okay. So I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. You might have to watch an ad. I think that can happen or something. YouTube really wants me to do that. So I'm going to leave. That's going to play or whatever. Then I'll come back and we will talk about Cow and Chicken pilot and then the Illumination Mutant Sequencer series. And then we'll do questions. And then that will be that. Thank you all coming out for a Friday, by the way. Sorry, just family organization stuff. And I still wanted to do it. And thank you to my wife and everybody for figuring out, let me do this tonight. So anyway, I will be right back. And then, yeah, I will be right back. And then we will move on to that. All right, cool. I will see you. Yeah, I'll be right back. Cool. I don't think that insert ad did everything. Everyone was like, she was like, you should do this. Whatever. I guess it just inserts it for later. Will it play? I don't know. Maybe it's just for later. Maybe I just did that. Doesn't matter. I will be right back. Thank you, Jim Wife. I'll be right back, and then we'll get to the segments and the questions. Oh, and I'm going to mute the mic and turn on the AC, so you won't hear anything for a second. Just, all right, cool. Bye. Hello, we are back. How's it going, everybody? Did it play an ad? Anyway, I don't think that did anything. YouTube kept sending me notifications. You should do this. And I was like, all right, that's fine during the ad. This be fine. I'm assuming everyone can hear me, by the way. All right, let's get into the. Can everyone hear me? Someone in the chat tell me. Shut up, he's back. It did play an advert. What did it play? Please let me. No ad? I'm confused. Going good. I'm glad Sinram is here. Something feels right in the world that Sinram is here. Anyway. I don't like to put ads, but we gotta keep this ship afloat somehow. I don't have object permanence, so for a second I forgot you existed. Okay. Let's get into it. First, today is the 25th. I'm awfully left audio-y. I don't know why. That's weird. Zane Powers retracted that comment. Anyway, so this today, as this live stream comes out, but not when you're seeing this video later, is the 25th anniversary of the premiere of the first episode of Cow and Chicken. And what better way to celebrate that by reviewing the pilot that aired in 1995? But but I'll say this on Cow and Chicken. I Cow and Chicken. I remember watching it. I was watching Cartoon Network, but as I was getting older, it's like I was never sure what to do, like comics and cartoon wise, and what was cool and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to watch and things like that. One time I turned on Cartoon Network and watched Cow and Chicken and went, "What the fuck is this?" And I got so obsessed with it, I literally, I'm not joking, I put on, I bought a videotape and had like a 6-hour tape of Cow and Chicken. Like the tape was just Cow and Chicken, and I just kept taping tons of Cow and Chicken, and I kept that tape because I kept going like, dude, this show is insane right now. So here's the thing, I and rewatching it now, I was still like, what the fuck is this show? Like it is a weird show. It's not on HBO Max. I don't even think like modern TV would find this appropriate for kids. Because like this pilot, which I have seen this before, actually. I don't think I saw it. I did see a lot of the, like I saw Dexter on What a Cartoon way before, and a bunch of them, and Johnny Bravo, but I don't think I saw this before, but I mean, it's possible, I guess. But it's literally, the plot of this pilot is, it's about Cow and Chicken, and the devil takes Chicken to the underworld or hell because he gets him to smoke cigarettes. Can you imagine? Wow. So, and then the devil, like, for a little, it walks on his butt. Like, it's just like, what is this show? Like, and it's so weird. And earlier in that cartoon, Chicken even goes like, I don't smoke cigarettes, because Cow says that too. It's just like so many things. And like there's thing later where Cow refills the milk carton, and Chicken's like, that's disgusting, I don't want to drink your milk. And Cow's like, oh, just refill this milk all the time, I've been doing it for years. And it's like, that's such a weird sort of gross joke, but it's like, oh man. So rewatching this was a flood of memories of being like 13 or however old I was in 97. You can figure it out if you want, 13 or 14, and going like, this is insane that this is airing. And I thought it would get like pulled and stuff, and it still sort of feels that way, which is sort of remarkable. I think one of the things about this pilot is it feels random and strange and out there, while also feeling like a show that understands its own weird random logic. I like in this the kind of rough design of the whole thing. And I do really like the idea of like a cow and a chicken that are brother and sister. Why? And the show's just like, I don't know. And you just sort of go with it. You realize there's like no reason or order for this show to exist or make sense, but it does. And the whole thing, I guess he's red guy in the show. I thought he was the devil. Anyway, but this was a fun blast from the past. I think Cow and Chicken is an extremely under-talked about, underrated show. I really do. It was fun rewatching this. I do think it should be back on HBO Max, but it really just feels like how is this real? And I know David, the creator, was an animation director on Ren and Stimpy. It sort of reminded me of that, and the kind of, regardless of how, I know how we all feel about John Kay, but we should, but in the 90s there was like this feeling of like we had this amazing great cartoon, and then it just sort of stopped, and it felt like Cow and Chicken in a little bit like took on that mantle in a certain regard. And I think like you get that potential through this pilot. It is a really promising pilot because it sort of reminds me of a good cartoon. Well, it is a good cartoon pilot because it makes me go, yeah, I want to see more of that right now. Like I want more of this, and how can this be a show? I want it to be a show. And I think that is one of the things, like I wanted to watch more in Cow and Chicken. It reminded me of like when I saw the Adventure Time pilot. But to be honest, I think this is probably one of the better cartoon pilots I've seen of a cartoon. So I hope it's the 25th anniversary. I would like to see more of this. I would like to see more of a lot of Cow and Chicken. I think it'd be amazing. Just such a random, weird sorts of a cartoon. And this episode especially, like the whole smoking thing, and it does play, like, it doesn't promote smoking or anything. It is basically the devil telling you to smoke and that being a bad thing. So I'm guessing how they got to do the censors, but it's so, shows are so sanitized. I'm not being like woke culture and stuff, but like seriously, you wouldn't see a kid show talk anything about smoking. Like, that's way too far now. And the fact that that's a main point of this, and they go back on that thing, it's just, I mean, clearly, like, cow is saying that to chicken because chicken does sort of want to smoke, and that's like the point. But it does feel like it goes counterintuitive, and then playing in the yard and everything. It is just such a visual feast of random 90s assortment that I really like. So I would really recommend watching just the pilot of this. But it Cow and Chicken is kind of a definite underrated classic, and this pilot definitely proves it and reminds me why I got so into it as a kid, because I really did feel like I couldn't believe what this thing was. It has that kind of like punk rock, insane animator, crazed animator who loves animation kind of energy that like kind of Ren and Stimpy radiated, and we'd see even in SpongeBob later. It's kind of like this weird offshoot that almost feels like shouldn't exist and maybe is forgotten about, but I think its glory in all of it is so there. It's kind of hard to deny that this is a really great cartoon. All right. I hope I did a good job with that. I feel like I didn't actually talk about the pilot. It was more of a Cow and Chicken is cool. So I wanted to talk about this a lot. Also, I should bring up both these segments. Shout out to Ryan Walterson for suggesting both of them, and they're really good ideas. So I know I've given a lot of shout outs, but follow him on Twitter. That's what I think. So when you think of Illumination, do you think of like you think of like the fucking Minions and stuff? You don't think of anything an adult hold on. Why are my notes? My notes don't have a thing that I should have, and that is not great. 1 second. I noticed a flaw in the plan. I noticed a flaw. Hold on. Let me correct that. When you're like, I have this all figured out. Do not play. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I just realized I didn't have a term there, and I don't want to fucking embarrass myself like I am right now. So, when you think of Illumination, I don't think you think of experimental or adult animation. You mostly think of the Minions or Secret Life of Pets or things like that. But Illumination actually did make a different kind of weird thing with an artist collective t-shirt company, also as a studio. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but they're called Brain Dead. And they do a lot of, they're kind of an artist collective who does a lot of stuff, but with a side company called Illumination Labs, made 5 weird, strange animated shorts. There hasn't been a lot of talk about these because they just don't, they're completely separate from the Illumination style. And I found it interesting because when I go through the credits of these, it didn't have Chris Meledandri on this. It had his son, I believe his son, from what I could find. I can't find a lot about this guy, Nick Meledandri. Now, hold on. Super Chat said, well, obviously I think of Hop when Illumination is discussed, Jim. In this house, we watch Hop almost every Easter, so I do too. Cheers to you, Will. Yes, I should review Hop one Easter. Well, my kids are still watching it because I'm not watching that shit when I'm done with it. No offense, Hop. No offense. Or Sonic the Hedgehog. But Nick Meledandri, look, I get that he's an obvious nepotism baby, and he used his daddy's Minion money to make these weird experimental shorts for an artist collective. But hear me out on this, is that maybe he's doing the nepotism baby thing correct, because he got his dad's lame Minion movie studio to make something actually really cool and weird. And I will give him props for that. I don't know this guy. I don't know the whole deal. But like, if you are going... if seriously, if you're going to like a pretty big like corporate studio and being like, I want my weird artist collective friends and make these weird animation shorts that some of them don't really have ends or stories or whatever, and I want to use these resources, and you get that to happen. To me, that's pretty punk rock and pretty cool. So I never don't know much about Nick Maladandri, but I actually have a lot of respect for him for getting this done at Illumination. Like, this isn't like Pixar has weird programs and stuff like that. Like, I don't know of any of those with Illumination, so I give him credit. I haven't heard much of Illumination Labs after these or before these, but what these are, they are kind of like kind of weirder shorts. Are each done by a different artist. A few of them I think are really cool and have a semblance of a plot. Some just don't. They're sort of just like, I guess, a vibe. I would say some are just kind of just weird, but they're not really trying to be anything more than weird experimental shorts. The two better ones, I'd say, remind me of heavy metal. The other ones just remind me of weird art shorts. I would say Gremlin, or why do I say, I think it's like Gremlin Founder. I just have Gremlin. Let's hold on. Let's see something. Gremlin Foundry. I did have it right. Okay. In my notes, at least. Gremlin Foundry, which is by this artist Jordan Spear, who's the lead. Each one had a different artist behind him. It's basically a long way showing a whole company's products are made from gremlin tears and what that means. It's an interesting environmental message, I will say. That one was a little weird. It's a weird way to start off. It's usually the one they asked you to. I'll go through the weirder ones first, but before I do, Nanbox64 says, don't think he'll be the next Travis Knight, though. Who knows, but I'll give him at least he did this, and that's kind of cool. But cheers to you, Nanbox64. Hey, you never know. Travis Knight was a rapper for a little bit. Slugs is these are also done in different animation styles as well, and not at all looking like the Minions. I actually recommend, if you're intrigued by this, when this is a video later, there'll be clips, that you check these out, because I think they're actually really cool. If you like the Adult Swim, it has a very Adult Swim kind of heavy metal vibe to some of them, but they're all their kind of own thing. Slugs is about, it's a weird stop motion thing. I think it's probably CG, but has sort of a stop motion look to it. It's in 2026 in New York, when New York is under 600 feet of water and everyone is transformed into mutants eating trash. It's just sort of two mutants fishing. Another mutant comes up. It's sort of a slice of life anime in a post-apocalyptic future where we all look like mutant slugs and stuff. So if you're into that, I would say Slugs. That's done by Steve Smith. There's also It's Just the Night Winds Weaving the Tree Branches, which, much like the name, and it's done by Dario Alva, is a bunch of cars on a highway crashing into each other, and you're not sure what that's about. And then you see a weird kind of half human clown thing crawling. This one made no sense, but hey, I applaud you for actually doing it. I will say one thing about these is they're at least doing something interesting and weird with animation. It does feel like a bunch of scenes you've seen before, but I do appreciate that they're like trying to do different things. The two I like and I'd say are the best, and they're the most like heavy metal, the movie, is especially this one, Clutch Diamond, by Devin Flynn. Sort of a Bill Plimpton meets heavy metal thing. I would say it's about this guy, Clutch Diamond, who actually is a nepotism baby, so maybe it's based on Nick Maladandri. He works for this department, and the whole movie, the short, is him getting ready to get into this cool car and stop these aliens from destroying the city. But you see in the beginning someone driving around with a cool car, but you don't get that epic conclusion. You just get him getting ready to get into this car that he's not prepared to. That's the whole thing. It's done well. It does remind me of the first, I think it's the first cartoon in heavy metal, which was eventually what The Fifth Element is based on. But not this, but the heavy metal thing. But the other one that I think is really probably the best one was one called Terraforming. It's by Pete Sharp. I don't want to reveal too much because it's got a cool reveal, but it's basically about a space satellite comes down to a planet. These astronauts come down. These angels, like sculpture angels, take off the helmet, and they're mice, and then they read their minds. You find all about this post-apocalyptic world and stuff. It looks like Morbius from the Heavy Metal magazine. It is actually really cool. If you're going to watch one, I would recommend it. It has the most semblance of a plot. It is a weird, like, heavy metal-ish animation kind of thing. Sorry, my nose is like... But a little itchy. Sorry about that there. But it is the weirdest one. It's also the most complete. I don't know much about Brain Dead. Their website shows they just are an artist collective who does a lot of things. A lot of younger artists like to do those things. I will say this. I think this is really cool that someone did something like that with animation and with a studio. I don't think we all have a ton of faith in terms of their experimental vibe. So this is an interesting avenue to go in. I don't know if they'll ever do this again. I don't know if this was just like Chris Meledandri letting his kid go off and do a weird thing. You can see these shorts. When this is a separate video, there will be a playlist. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. I posted it on Twitter as well and in the Discord. Here, I'm going to post it. This is the that's the playlist with all of them. It's a YouTube channel for the Artist Collective. But I appreciate that someone tried to do something different with Illumination, because I don't think they're really known for that. And I really do applaud Nick Meledandri, who I'm going to give the credit for, but I also Chris Meledandri for actually being open to do this with Illumination. There wasn't a ton of press coverage on it. There was the Cartoon Brew article, but I would like to see more from animation studios doing things with different artists and stuff. This was interesting. I don't know if Illumination will ever do something like that, but I really appreciated at least the possibility of these. I think Terraforming was the only one I outright loved. I think Clutch Diamond was close to it, but the fact that they're making kind of heavy metal-y Adult Swim, I don't want to say Adult Swim just because it's like more adult. I guess you have to say that there is an obvious heavy metal influence on this. I'm not just saying that because it's more adult, but I think it's really cool, and I hope I hope they do more stuff like that. I hope they push the medium of animation. It shows like that's at least an idea in this company that they could, and not just do kind of the big corporate kid stuff that they're known for currently. So it gives me, it's kind of a weird sidestep in Illumination's history. Will they do it again? I've heard no knowledge of that. It does say Mutant Sequencer Volume 1, which has the possibility that there could be more volumes, or there couldn't be. I don't know. These didn't get a ton of views. They're not very well known. I'm not sure why, but there was a time where Illumination did do something different and made adult, experimental, weird cartoons, and that's at least interesting to me that they at least attempted it. Okay. I feel good about those. But yeah, if you're watching this later, the link for the playlist of all of them will be in the description. Let's get into the questions. I have 3 Patreon questions, and then we'll move on to other stuff. Yeah. I hope everyone liked those. All right. Nathaniel Foga is the first of the Patreon questions. Says, what other PBS Kids shows should get a film adaptation with a darker tone, similar to something like Where the Wild Things Are movie? What's that, Calico Kid or whatever? Maybe Arthur would be interesting. Zaboomafoo. Let's get a behind the scenes Zaboomafoo movie. Sinram. We have 2 longer ones in a row here, but Sinram says Entertainment Weekly is dead. At least the print version. At least the print version is. Sorry, the actual magazine part of the magazine. Website's still going strong, but I will miss it. Being able to purchase particular issues and then keeping them for years, if not decades. I agree. I used to have a lot of those like fall specials and stuff like that for a while. I suppose this is the natural evolution of things. Music, movies, and TV, books, maps, menus, vacation, photos, fucking karaoke, song request forms. They're all creeping into the territory of exclusively online, or at least overwhelmingly digital rather than physically tangible. Can't hold them in your hands anymore without changing batteries and or Wi-Fi. Jim, what will you miss? What will you be sad to see disappear from the realm of I can feel the texture of this? I've been thinking about that with comics, because I've been reading comics with my daughter, and I've been doing more of the where you go with comics. It's really a different experience because you can almost swipe from panel to panel. That I do miss like the smell of comics. I almost miss the smell of CD booklets. I remember that was a thing. Things like that. I miss the theater a lot too. It makes me a little sad currently, but I think things like that, just like being able to feel it, feeling like it's there. Sometimes I do like the accessibility of everything currently. But it would be cool, like if you get an old movie back in the day from a video store, you get like this old VHS, sometimes from the early days of VHS, and sometimes that could be really cool. Or like even getting a library book and seeing no one had taken it out for years. So that some of that actually was something when I used to get old film books and actually see friends' names in it. That was always nice. I remember that. So, yeah. Man, Naked HT always coming back. All right. Austin. Final Patreon question, then we'll move on. What a great show. And on a Friday, once upon a time, you'd be eating pizza and watching Scoob. That's true. My question this week is about Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like Rotten Tomatoes isn't a bad site, but I do think takes everyone's different views, and calculating a numeric value doesn't do a film justice, as people have different tastes and biases. What are your thoughts on Rotten Tomatoes? Do you have more insight about how the website works, or do you think it is good for film criticism? I don't like look at it a lot. Personally, I do think you should really just find critics that you like, and I think it should have been just a good critic aggregator. I think it should promote critics more. I know friends who've been, like Rachel Wagner in particular, who is brought onto it to show different perspectives and stuff. But my problem, I think, with it is people just go, oh, whatever, and just go, oh, this film is bad, or oh, fuck these critics because of this. Just find a critic you like. I think people should also understand critics are people who have a background and an understanding in an education film, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, and you don't have to agree with them. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we'll see the thing with Rotten Tomatoes overall, but I do think it kind of simplifies things too much. Like Siskel and Ebert simplified film criticism, but it simplifies it to such a degree, I don't think there's much meaning in it. Like criticism is an art form, but I don't know if Rotten Tomatoes really understands that. They just want they feel a consumer report is an art form, and I don't think criticism is just a consumer report. So maybe other people said, but yeah. But I think you should just find critics you like. I don't see why that's such a weird thing for people when you bring it up. People are always like, I hate critics. And I'm like, well, maybe you just don't like the critics that you are around, that you've read. Maybe you should find a better one. All right, I'm starting with this cornbread one. You hear about the TMNT game collection. They got 4 different turtles in times. The collection is packed. If you don't play games anymore, but you should check it out. You think it's neat. I'm sure I would. I just don't. I really, between cartoons and this and everything else, I just don't have the time. So, yeah. But that does sound cool. If I ever had the time, I would. Austin, question. What was with the 90s, 2000s cartoons having devil characters? I think there's a lot of animators who are let loose and people who got to have fun. And I think the 90s was very extreme. Satan was sort of a thing in the 90s, I guess. Or like always. Logan Hill, talk about adult the Baby Herman shorts. What do you mean? Like I'm confused. Like the Roger Rabbit ones? I'm a little confused about that, but sure. I have reviewed all the Roger Rabbit ones. Nattenbox64, what is your favorite film that Colin Farrell appeared in? In Brooks, probably. In Brooks. Let's go with that. Favorite soda, Nathaniel Fogel? Probably Dr. Pepper. I'm going to go with Dr. Pepper. Zane Powers, do you have to learn the ways of the camel from me and how bad to hold in your liquids? What the... Oh, man. That would be cool, but I'm never good at... I pee a lot, frankly. So I will never learn them. M. Blood T. Remember when people considered Chris Pratt to play Indiana Jones? How about a short round movie since Ka Kwan is back? Chris Pratt recently said he doesn't really want to do it, and I think those are just rumors. And he seems to, as I didn't really get to do in the live stream, talk about Chris Pratt's trying to rebound his image, but I do remember that. But it seems like he's even like, please, I don't want to at all. But I wouldn't mind a short round movie. I think that would actually be a better idea. That'd be a good Disney Plus thing. Come on. Like, if we're going to have streaming, let's get weird with these spin-offs and shit. What's the... let's see. Who's next? What's the longest YouTube video you've watched? Probably one of the Quentin Reviews ones, to be honest with you. Well, the Drake... One of the ones he did of the series is, I think that is honest. But I didn't watch it I kept stopping and coming back to it. So How long will the Garfield glasses remain on the shelf? Could you possibly make room for them to be a permanent addition? I don't know if they'll go back. They'll probably go back to the kitchen and be in the back of the cabinet. I think I might start drinking about them again. I don't know. Maybe I should do a poll. Should I drink the cancer glasses? Question, thoughts about I Am Weasel. I didn't watch that as much. I remember liking it okay. Sorry. Blood T, how long will it take to convince Hollywood to unionize VFX artists after some of them calling out Marvel's abuse from them with unrealistic expectations? I think, I agree. They should. I don't think what Marvel's doing and live action, even when I was in film school, they're pretty much just like have such a disrespect for visual effects and animation. And it's like, you can just do that in a weekend, right? It's like, no, if you want it to look good, obviously not. Like, what the fuck? Like, and those things take a while to figure out. So I think they should unionize, and I think Marvel should be treating people better, especially if they're going to rely on it as much as they clearly are. I think that is fucking bullshit, frankly. Just Marvel should be treating people better. They have enough money. They have all the money in the world and all the attention. And if they're bullying people on their productions, that just doesn't make any sense to me. They should be planning things out a lot better. Zane Powers, are we in the era of talent getting no respect, just like Rodney Dangerfield? Will anything really happen from it? I do think what we're going to see with talent is probably getting back to, because, like, you know, I'm able to own my own content and make my own stuff and, you know, make what little money I can off of it and things like that. So I think what we're going to see is these big companies are going to have a problem. Like, what I think the film I have a lot of thoughts on this actually, but what I think the film High Flying Bird brought up is, like, when you don't need these companies, what's going to happen? And that is going to continue to be a bigger and bigger issue, not just this decade, but the decades coming forward, because I think these companies are going to have to pay them and treat them better, because, like, effectively, if you're a big movie star and you're like, yeah, but I could make more just having a TikTok or making YouTube videos and just writing my own script. Like, if Kevin James made enough off his YouTube channel, would he just be like, I'll just do this with these guys, like, fuck y'all, and that could be the end of it. So I could seriously see that happening more. I think that's probably that's a possibility. Question for Ryan Walterson: who's saucier, red guy from Cow and Chicken or him from Powerpuff Girls? I'm gonna say red guy. I forgot that he's red guy. It's been a while. I should probably watch more Cow and Chicken. But Lauren Jones, I've been trying to watch more old Hollywood films. Do you have any recommendations? I've liked 12 Angry Men and The Apartment so far. I always recommend the film Detour, because it is, like, super easy to find and it's not really very long, and it's, like, one of the best film noirs ever made. I also recommend Public Enemy from William Wellman, Wild Boys of the Road from William Wellman. What were the two you said you watched? Because I should recommend based on that. Also the Oxbow incident, which is similar to 12 Angry Men, if you like those. I would recommend The General from Buster Keaton if we want to go silent. Those are some good ones. How about you see those and let me know how you feel about them. But I would go for, if you're really getting to classic Hollywood films, I would just go for, like, short, kind of killer kind of movies. Black and white, just short, like under an hour. You can find a ton of them. The pre-code stuff, they're quick, they're short, they're to the point, and they get the fucking job done, and afterwards you feel really good about it. So that's what I would go with. I like Go Away Naked. That's funny. I mean, I know what you're saying. Logan Hill, do you do voices for your kids when you read them comics? So, like, when we're reading Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I do, like, the roar and some voices, but I don't want to do voices for people who are like different races and stuff like that. So I do it sometimes, or things like that. But I also explain to her, like, what thought balloons are, the thought boxes are, and the differences and things like that. But when I do Sonic comics, I do a ton of different voices. Jordan Bouchard, some of your favorite PS1 or PS2 games. I played Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Oh, that's about it. Modelo Butterfly, how has Pizza Party been? Have you talked recently? I talked to Izzy. It's been a little bit with Pan. We are talking. There's been no movement on anything. I need to work on that myself. Zane Power, we're getting late, so I'll get a few more, and then, yeah. Zane Power says, how many people you think got mad about the Munsters, never saw the Munsters? I think a lot of people. That is a good point, Zane Powers. Has anyone actually tried their naked Plenty. I'm curious about that. If you have, let me know, I guess. And I'm sorry, Nutbox64, would you be interested in doing a book review at some point? Probably not, because I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really a book person, I think. Even though I've been reading more because of film art video and research and stuff. Austin, I know you don't want to spoil your Love and Thunder review, but is it better than Jurassic World Dominion? I mean, I guess, sure. Zane Nathaniel Foga, sorry, what was the first film you saw in theaters at the start of the new millennium of the 2000s? I know I saw Mission Impossible 2. Might have been Magnolia? I don't know. I don't know exactly. I know I saw those in 2000, though, those two. So, 2 with Tom Cruise, oddly enough. American movie? Maybe? I don't know. Not plausible. You are forced to direct multiple episodes of Family Guy. How do you make it? I just make it and collect them checks, baby. Cornbread. Forgot to ask way earlier during our Sonic 2 review, but what's Sophie's favorite Sonic characters, and has she played any games besides the one on the mobile game? She's only played the mobile game and the classic one. I think she likes the girl one and stuff like that. Oh my god, it is 12:30. I should really... And let me do one. When are you and Naked HC starting your own podcast? Probably soon. That was from Cornbread. And from... you should try Zoya Energy Drink by The Rock. I will, Medela Butterfly. Thank you for that super chat. Okay. Hold on. There was one. There's one from somebody who I don't normally see in here. I wanted to. Okay. Fortuno Fernando. Are there any recent comics post 2010 that you have read recently or at least interested in? I would like to read more. I haven't read too much, but I am reading Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur with my daughter. I like that and Ms. Marvel. I would say those just because I know I've read them. Godzilla Goes to Hell. I really like that, and I wish I had a collection. I think there's a few I'm missing, but I appreciate that. Okay, before I go, because it is late, and thank you all very much for the super chat, everyone who gave one. I really, really appreciate it. The next stream will be August 20th. I'm only slowing these down because, there's a lot I want to work on with the new cartoon, and they take a while, and research-wise, and music, and everything like that. And I just don't have all the time in the world. It's just impossible to do everything, but let me do this very generous super chat from Cinnamon. Said the first film I saw in the new millennium was Secret Honor. Then I saw Magnolia in the theater. Interesting. I don't think Magnolia was the first one, so maybe it was both our second. I like it that way. But anyway, cheers to you, Sinram. Thank you very much for this super chat. Thank you for being here. But I wanted to say, look, I'm older. I have 2 kids. Me having a cartoon is harder and all that stuff. And I just wanted to thank everyone for all your support. Because I think there's a lot of people who thought I shouldn't be doing this, or I couldn't do this, and I couldn't come back and do streams and figure all this out. And you've all been very patient. I'm sorry I had to miss one of the 4 streams I wanted to do. I only got to do 3. But I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart and in all honesty, you guys have always been really good to me, and I really appreciate it. And I think it's just awesome. And I'm glad to have, this is kind of the end of the Film Rap video launch. I just wanted to say it's been amazing doing this and getting back at it. And it is harder when you're older to make stuff. But what I guess my advice would be in future, it feels great to have done it. I'm glad to have done it, and I'm glad to make this stuff. And no matter what people say when you're older, you should still continue to make stuff and continue to try to do it, and that's what I've done, and I'm really happy about it. I don't know. I'm probably a little tired, and it's the end of the show. But thank you all for your support. Thank you for liking it. Thank you for liking all the videos. Thank you for all that stuff. But it's always tough to do this stuff. It's always tough to organize things to get it to work. And I want to thank you all for your patience, and sorry if sometimes it doesn't fully work out, but I think this worked out for everything. So I don't think I said that in the best way, but Good night, all. Thank you for being here. I will see you on a stream, I believe on August 20th or around there. Thor: Love and Thunder will be out tomorrow. You all have a good night. Have a good weekend. See some cool movies, and I will see you all next time. All right.